I'm a little late for the party, but essentially, I want to defend Femetheist from MrRepZion. I mean, let's put it this way. MrRepZion is a guy that makes a 15-minute video showing himself eating Lucky Charms versus Femetheist, who actually brings discussion to the table, interesting discussion, and quite frankly, if you ask me, has the right idea. I don't agree with her 100%, but she's in the right direction. In fact, a lot of people accuse me of wanting to run rape camps because essentially I say the same thing about women. Not castration or any of that sort, but to run a facility where women are kept and impregnated, ritualistically, until the age where they cannot reproduce anymore, whatever age that might be for them. They should spawn as many children as humanly possible. They would be well taken care of, they'd be protected, they would be cared for, watched over, but their main role would be to reproduce. This is not to suggest that women are inferior to men. This is not to suggest that somehow they are property or anything of that sort. Just that this would be the most efficient way to evolve. This would be the most efficient way for us to act as a species. What do other species have that we do not? Self-preservation. We might have self-preservation individually, but collectively we are falling way behind. When I think of the most advanced species on this planet, I do not think of human beings. Human beings are certainly the most articulated species. They are the most verbal. They are the most, creative. But they are not the most advanced. I would say the most advanced species are your choice of insects. One cockroach can repopulate an entire race. I'm serious. You can look that up. A cockroach takes the sperm from a male cockroach when they have sex and carries it within glands of her and can release them at will. You know what that means? That means anytime a female cockroach wants, she can get pregnant and then reproduce however many cockroaches she has. And she can do that for the rest of her life. That means she only needs to have sex once. And that means all it takes is one female cockroach to invade your household and infest it with cockroaches. That is amazing. That is some fantastic evolutionary, position. And why aren't we like that? Why haven't we reached that, state when we have the technology, when we have the intelligence, when we have the passion? Well, we don't have the passion, but you get what I'm saying. The point is, we have the means to be the most dominant animal, not just on this planet, but possibly all planets, and we are not exercising it. Why? Because we have people like MrRepZion who want to remain docile and stick their nose in a Bible that they're not actually reading. Even the Bible suggested that man conquer this planet and rule over all the other animals. And mankind's not doing that. Why not? As the intelligent animal, it is our duty, our moral duty, to think about these issues and how best to move ourselves forward and to be prepared for our battles with evil. And MrRepZion is not mentally equipped to handle those kinds of discussions. He is a little boy, and he thinks by attacking a woman, he is making himself legitimate. So that's my issue here. Femetheist makes an excellent point. I could even say that perhaps it would be right to castrate males. Maybe not all males, as that doesn't seem very practical in reproduction, but certainly to castrate many of them, such as MrRepZion, who offer no use as far as genetics goes. MrRepZion is a coward, he's a charlatan, he's a compulsive liar and a troll. What does that offer us as a species? But, someone else, someone like Mouse Rebel, would make an excellent specimen for reproductive purposes. I call this my Project Space Marine. If you know about Warhammer 40k, you know about how every chapter of Space Marines descends from one of the Emperor's children. The Emperor had like 13 sons, and then the Imperium of Man took the DNA of his sons and spliced it with regular human DNA to create these super soldiers. So essentially, every Space Marine is either some clone or chimera of one of the Emperor's original sons. And these sons are called the Patriarchs, and these Patriarchs are the ascendants of the Space Marines. I don't need to go into further detail. You get what I'm saying. The fact is, it's eugenics, and there's nothing wrong with that word. So that's what this is coming down to. The fact that, yes, eugenics are a good thing, but they are a thing that has been improperly used in 90% of the cases. To just massive exterminate a group of people, that's wrong. To just condemn someone as inferior to you, that is wrong. But there are qualities in a person that should be encouraged and qualities that should be discouraged. And that much is true. Femetheist sees that. I see that. Apparently MrRepZion doesn't see that. So, I guess that's really it. I wanted to go into further detail, but I can't seem to think of anything right now. It just comes down to the fact that, don't you want the world to be a better place? It's just that simple. Do you want the world to be a better place or not? How do you make the world a better place? Do you just sit there and pretend it's going to get better? Or do you encourage it through specific laws and specific details? The fact is, if the right kinds of people were reproducing and the wrong kinds of people were not, the world would naturally get better. The world would naturally have less liars, less, rapists, less terrible people, less moderators, God willingly, and would have more people that were dedicated, hardworking, smart, funny, kind, that sort of thing. So, yes, castration is a viable option. I just do not think it's a practical solution to just castrate all males at a certain age, and women collect sperm samples and then get pregnant sometimes, so yes, I do not think feminism is a practical method of the new world, nor do I believe that it would sustain our species long enough to notice the results. There's no point in saying that we've perfected the human gene pool if we don't live through it, because these women aren't reproducing fast enough. Women can only get pregnant once every 9 months. So it doesn't seem feasible to leave them in charge of a eugenics program. But it has nothing to do with the fact that women are inferior or property or whatever. And if you ask me, MrRepZion is being more of a misogynist than normal misogynist. I mean, like the guy that goes into the club and fools women into sleeping with him because, he just wants to get laid. That's not so much misogynist as it is selfish. He is being selfish. He is using women's emotions and physical bodies to fulfill something in himself. This is how he glorifies himself, is by having sex with women and wearing their vaginas like a fucking mantle. Those are his trophies. It's wrong, but it's not misogynist in and of itself. Nor do I believe that someone that... In a way, I kind of enjoy knowing that, because it almost, it's like a dice roll. It's like a dice roll in the fact that every time a man has sex with a woman, there is a probability of pregnancy. So, knowing that, and knowing how our society views pregnancy, relationships, sexuality, you gotta do what you can. So, if that means relying on the frat boy just trying to get a lay, I guess that's what we have to rely on. I guess that's what it comes down to. But it's not preferable, it's not optimal, but it's what we have to work with. And MrRepZion is just completely alluding to all these facts. He's alluding to the fact that we do not have any semblance of, proper genes. We have no semblance of order, no structure, no anything. We have no direction whatsoever as a species, and we are suffering for it. Right now, the vast majority are cattle. Cattle that were raised to be cattle. They're veal. They are food. They are food for the predatorial 1%. And MrRepZion is not offering any sort of answer for it that would change that remotely. At least Femetheist is. Even if some of her ideas are wrong, even if they are impractical, or they would actually be to the disinterest of humanity, even if they would in the end destroy humanity, it's still better. That's just the gist of it. Even the entire destruction of the human race would be preferable to stagnation, to perpetual enslavement. That is what your future holds unless you give this shit some serious thought, MrRepZion. So, I guess that's all I have to say.